Hey everybody, how's it? Aloha! Geebz here, the old composer here at the Decomposer Lounge, dissecting your favorite tracks. And brand new band. Came across my comments and I just decided, usually I wait until a bunch of comments stack for using a certain band or a song. But I remember hearing of this band, Sevendust. My brother's friend used to always go on about many years ago. Not that many. And this track is Dirty. So I look forward to that. I want to thank you guys for your comments. Thank you guys for filling out that poll. That poll just blew up like it was nobody's business. And I'm going to do a response video to that in a little bit. But if you want to check it out, just go to my community tab on my page. And it's a great poll because it gives me an idea on the kind of, where in your life have you experienced music outside of a listener, if you have. So that's really cool. Thank you guys, like usual, for the support. When I do these videos, it does not monetize my channel when the ads run. It's for the record companies, and it's a copyright claim. So if you want to buy me a cup of coffee, maybe join me on Patreon, that link will be, or those links will be down below. So anyhow, let's do this. Let me get on my headsets here. AKG 240s. Love these. I've had these forever. Also, a link for that will be down below, too, if you want to check those out. Sevendust, Dirty. We're doing this. All right.
This thing called war, just a person starving. What makes us human becomes a ghost. I can barely breathe in. All I see is war. I never knew what you needed. I just know I'm wrong.
A lot to talk about here. All right, so just an overall, the amount of dynamics that are going into this production are like next level. And we're only a minute and 13 into this. So let's talk about that opening, that kind of blooming sound. Obviously, engineering. You know how I feel about engineering. An engineer is a member of the band when it comes to the recording sessions. Because of the talent that they bring, be it a producer is hanging over them or a band member who's leading, the charge in the mix. Even when they're saying, "Hey, I've got an idea. Can we make the sound do this?" And it's up to the engineer to go, "Yeah, I can do that." And that's what we hear, is that kind of compressed, mutated little sound that starts to blow up at the beginning, then explodes into a hard left-right stereo. The dynamics in the deliverance of that is really wide open. It's not ambient, but it's really wide open. Ambient are things that are long and swimmy and give you that like vortex kind of vibe, kind of like a shoegaze style music and other types of arrangement uses. Okay, let me get to the point here. First of all, that rhythm, does it sound like a triplet to you, or is it syncopation? Okay, a lot of times syncopation, when done in this way, can sound, kind of throw people off on a triplet, or if it's syncopation. For those of you who don't know what syncopation is that the structure of a bar has a meter, has a time code, and then there's a meter. Did I say time code? I'm sorry. Time signature, SMPTE days. Time signature, and then there's X amount of beats that can go in there, that fit in there. Now those beats could be treated many different ways. You can dot them, there's all kinds of stuff that can happen there. And the notes that you choose to play during that, a lot of times when you're playing in what's called syncopation is, let's just say there's 16 little notes that fit in one bar. Where you hit those notes are legitimate time, not that triplets aren't legitimate time, but the syncopation is that those notes may not land in a place that we feel natural in a 1, 2, 3, 4. So if there's 16th notes that fit in there, and they're going da 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 da, it's actually hitting one of those notes. So this sounds syncopated to me. I want you guys to tell me what you think it is. Let's talk about the vocals. The vocals, the performance is so round. What a very unique sound of the voice. I'm not a vocal coach. I'm not going to go there, but here's what I'm loving so far. Outside of the power and the intensity of his performance, listen to the second half of the first verse, I believe it is. Well, I haven't gotten to the second verse. So the second half of that verse, listen how he drops in a harmony that mirrors a drone like a bagpipe, because it stays in one note all the way through while he is still moving around in his melody. Then finally, and that's great, I love that sound. That to me is an automatic, whoa, I love that. That's just my thing for, keeping, the root note, if you would, of a chord pattern, kind of giving us that little signal. Another thing I want to say about the vocals, because next stop I'll glam about the musicians and stuff, is great harmony at the very end. You probably saw me kind of go whoa, 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 because it's a heavy song. It's a heavy hitter. The chords that they've been choosing and the melody that he's been on has been kind of in kind of a minor vibe. Minor means darker, heavier stuff. But at the very end of that chorus, he ends up on a note that gives you a little bit of a bloom, like whoa, what's that? It kind of lifts you. It kind of resolves itself, even though there was nothing that was hanging out there asking to be resolved. The fact that he lands on that note kind of completely changed the shape of the composition and the arrangement that gave you the feeling of like, wow. All right, so let's go on, and then I'll shine on the instrument, the musicians and stuff and their arrangements.
I'm just a passenger you never seen before. Inside a shell that's dying. What makes us do this? We can't ignore. I can almost taste it. I never knew what you needed. I just know I'm wrong. I know it's hard for you to believe. I'm gonna die.
Back into that solo. Excuse me. Do you notice that there seems to be, it feels like there's a pumping pulse in the mix? Whether if you're listening to your phone, or maybe you're obviously not going to catch that probably, but if you have yourself set up on your speakers, if you're listening through this and you have a system and stuff, you feel there's this kind of a pulse to it. And that is, could be, I don't know, but from my experience, that has to do with compression. And compression, making a song kind of have that pulsy weirdness to it. You can do certain things in mastering, which really is not really super advisable, would be to put an intense compression over the top in mastering to do that. Because it brings out noise and other things and so on and so forth. But the drums compression seems to have this kind of pulsing throb to it, beyond the actual musicianship and what the drummer's doing. They obviously are a very rhythmical band, and so by virtue of that, bands like this, in their engineering, it feels like the tom-toms and the drums and stuff are really a prevalent part of the mix. A lot of times you'll hear, this kind of like a V attitude in mixing drums. What I mean is you have kick in the snare, which is usually always almost down the center. The kick and the bass are married. They have this, kind of tone zone that they own at the bottom. And it can get lifted by, the chugging of the guitars and stuff. But when I talk about a V, is that when you hear toms going, whether it's Neil Peart or Danny and Rush and stuff, a lot of times you'll hear kind of a peeling back in the volume. You know, it might come around, might get a little hot, and then come back this way. You know, to give you an essence of circle or that kind of vibe. In this case, they have everything up front, and with the precision and the power that this drummer's bringing through, it is a super prevalent part of the mix. And so far, everything about this song has been just absolutely epic rhythmical composition, you know, with the guitar and the bass and the stuff like that. You know, the bass seems to be following suit with the guitars. The arrangements are really super tight. I haven't thus far heard any straying passages with the bass, you know, kind of wandering off on its own, you know, as they're wrapping around phrase, or, you know, at the end of the phrases or stuff like that. So everything on this is absolutely precision. I mean, so far, everything I'm hearing is absolute precision. And I also like, really quick, just wanted to glam on really quick, the fact that the technique of using his voice, you know how I am, I don't listen to lyrics, don't know what they're saying. He's an instrument, he's killing it. But I like the combo between his voice and then they're using the darker growl style voice of the guitar player that comes in. So those are those tactical nuances, I'd like to call musical tactical nuances, that bring me to stay interested in a track. I mean, there's already a dozen reasons why I'm hooked into this track. I'm probably going to listen to this a few times afterwards, because on the first time listen, I don't catch everything. But, you know, I just wanted to bring up that pulsing kind of vibe that, you know, the compression on the drums could have been that's triggering that, because it's a percussive, non-tonal sound. Though tom-toms are tuned and stuff like that, it's just very percussive, and it seems to be giving, you know, then again, it could be the compression rate on the encoding here on Spotify, or YouTube too. There's a couple reasons why that might happen, but I'm not 100% sure. That's why I just bring it up as a safety lever, saying, what do you think? Okay, here we go. Let's get the solo in. Man, that was, you know what, I'm telling you, what else is super, the actual song construction, as far as preparing a song under 5 minutes for the listener. You know, one of the most important things on a, sonic psychological effect on the end listener is repetition. And I'm not talking about repetition of the riffiness. I'm talking about repeating sections. So you're used to it. You know, you're brought into it. You know, even if you're not a pure listener, even if you're, even a composer like me, or so many musicians that I'm realizing through that poll that are on this channel. Excuse me. But that repetition, what seemed to be like a pre-chorus kind of vibe, where they're and then he holds that long note, at the very end. That seemed like it was a pre-chorus, but because I'm not listening to the hook or to the lyrics, I couldn't quite assemble that. But I liked how there were definitive, at least 3 sections repeated itself through this song. And there was also a longer, I believe, it was the hook section, where even though there was the riff was happening, there is a longer guitar arrangement happening in the back that's giving it kind of a kind of a layered zone here where everything is that kind of stop, start kind of vibe, but they're holding out these chords, or a chord or two chord. I couldn't, you see, this is the thing about listening to the first time. Listening to so many different things, I can't peg it. Plus, the older I get, the better I was. Slippage. But as you go back and listen to it, I'm sure you'll be able to assemble what it is that I'm saying here. So this is an absolutely wonderful first start for me for Sevendust. And I definitely know that I'm going to be probably super pleased as I go through their catalog. Please suggest to me some more Sevendust. For those of you who did and are probably surprised that I did it, I want to thank you, because every once in a while I just take that chance and go, well, let me see what this is all about. Again, I want to thank you guys so much for the comments. If you, once again, want to support me in the channel, a cup of coffee, link will be down below. Link will be down below for their Spotify and the merch, the headsets, and also my Patreon. So I guess we'll see you there, or not, or we'll see you here. Thanks for subscribing. So thanks for it's this Nightwish coffee. Nightwish coffee. This stuff is so good, but I get so like fire. All right, guys, take care. All right.